Yowdy dowdy, everybody. This is Noel Holiday, or the Ice Trancer, or Dubs a Radiation Fox. And they are a liar. Let me just say right off the bat, because I know what happens when you don't. Do not harass this person. Do not spread hate to this person or anyone affiliated with them. With that out of the way, let's move on to the video. Normally, I don't make videos like this, and honestly, normally I don't even care. But this person made one fatal mistake. They lie, and not in a funny way. They lie in a, I wrote the entire weird route way. I'm not even joking, they actually said this to me. Again, normally I wouldn't care about something like this. 250 subscribers and a Discord server with like 60 people in it. So why am I even bothering to make this video? Because they lied to my friend Shine. You're a real wise they still a guy though, Dubs, but you made one mistake. You messed with my friend. My friend Shine has claimed to know someone who works on Deltarune with Toby Fox on the 8-4 team for a while. And every time they'd mention this to me, I'd think, does she really think I'm gullible enough to believe this? I mean, Shine's told me that this person told her that Dubs has literally smoked weed with Toby Fox and Temmie Chang. I mean, am I really supposed to just take their word for this? As well as telling Shine that Chapter 5 was developed when half the team was high, which, I'll believe it. The lie I ended up hearing that spiraled into this whole thing was as simple as Dubs voiced some of the flowery lines. Obviously, if this is a connection I can call in, I'm gonna want to call this in. So I got into a VC with them. I wish I recorded that, but unfortunately, I'm not some creep who records every conversation I have. Sorry. However, I am lucky enough to have real raw audio of the original flowery voice lines being recorded.
Okay, they're eating my flesh. They're eating my flesh. Mini peppers.
Okay, no, what the fuck was that? That wasn't flowery. I mean, this supposed outtake doesn't even sound like what actually made it into the game.
Hey guys, I think I found a glue. Shit, I mispronounced that.
Hey guys, I think I found a glue.
Okay, maybe Toby Fox has recorded his own lines to use in the actual Chapter 5, and Dubs just recorded them for like an early build or something. But if that's the case, then why even get someone else to record the lines? Recording this kind of stuff doesn't take any more than like 5 minutes? So wouldn't it make sense for Toby to just do it himself? And then put that in the game early on? Okay, maybe there's just something I'm not getting. There's a lot of fake evidence that this person sent to Shine. My personal favorite being this one that supposedly proves she has access to Chapter 6. See that? That fatal cough isn't actually in the files for any of the chapters. I checked. But do you see the flaw in this quote-unquote proof? That's Undertale mod tool. You know, Undertale mod tool. Why not send, I don't know, a screenshot of the file in Game Maker? Oh, but if you were a skeptic before, we've got real emails from the real Toby Fox. Emails where Toby says stuff like, yeah, you clearly got a lobotomy or something. What the hell? And make yourself useful and help me remove these damn leaks. I mean, can you believe Toby said that? Do you believe Toby said that? Do you really believe Toby Fox said that? Don't. If you ignore it, they'll think the leaks are fake. They just want your attention. Good point. But I still feel like I should take it down, but I trust your judgment. You've helped me with this for the longest time. Besides Temmie, you're the second most important person to this. Hold on. Am I supposed to believe this person is somehow the most important person right after Temmie Chang? Is Dubs trying to make it look like she's best friends with Toby Fox? Will Asgore shit in Chapter 5? I swear to God. I have important things too. Someone leaked 3 songs from the Chapter 5 OST. You know not to email me on Mondays. You hear that, guys? Don't email Toby on Monday. It makes him angry. Then we have these emails with Epstein levels of censorship that boils down to, hey, playtest this early version of Chapter 5 and tell me what you think. Doesn't this kind of sound like my uncle works for Nintendo and I got to play the new Mario game early? Look at this real email that proves it. It's from Toby Fox. And then this one where she sent an avatar meme about weed to Toby and he responds, me too, bromide. Does Toby even know that bromide is slang people use nowadays? Side note, while I was writing the script for this video, they told me they actually requested to not be in the credits because they would get like harassed at their classes, which, I mean, why would Shine get a different explanation if it wasn't just she couldn't keep her story straight? Now, if that all didn't feel fake to you, I have had the pleasure of speaking to this person myself. Strap in, because this was the best part of my day. Right off the bat, I start introducing myself as a Deltarune fan / YouTuber and said I would be ecstatic if I could talk to them for a bit. She responds, well, Shine knows to keep their mouths shut, but I would be down to talk to you. However, if you plan on recording, you can't. Of course, I won't record. I understand NDAs and how annoying those can can be, especially with how easy it is to accidentally say something you shouldn't. I know that I said I wouldn't record, and I know that screenshots do count as recording evidence, so that does kind of make me a liar. But I feel like the lying that Dubs has done is comparatively way worse. This is like the extreme lesser of two evils. And then they say Toby doesn't have them under an NDA. He actually has her under a contract written as an NDA, allowing her to talk about things because Toby thinks it's funny and has enough trust that she won't leak anything. You know, Toby, don't email me on Monday's Fox, who according to Dubs said, and I quote, make yourself useful and help me get rid of these damn leaks. Okay, but Toby also said that Dubs is the second most important after Temmie Chang. After this, I asked what their relationship with the rest of the team is, and they responded, everyone is co-workers except for me, Toby, and Temmie. We all consider each other friends, being on team meetings frequently for ideas and concept, sometimes even watching movies. I'm literally best friends with Toby Fox and Temmie Chang. We're so close, we get high together and even watch movies. After that, they didn't respond to me for like 10 minutes, to which I made a joke to my friends on call saying, they haven't said anything for a bit, but that's probably because she needs to skim through her Google Doc where she keeps all her lies. This will be really funny later, I swear. I asked her how long she knew Toby and Temmie, and she told me they apparently have been working since Chapter 2 era, which you'll see this get contradicted later. And in that same message, had the audacity to tell me that she wrote the entire Weird Routes. I obviously follow up on this crazy reveal of I wrote the entire Weird Routes. Then they send me a voice message basically explaining that the Weird Route was loosely based on her life. Yeah, and then I asked what Toby's favorite AU was, and they said Underfell. That's not important, I just thought it was worth mentioning. He likes that they all believe in kill or be killed and that they kill each other. Yep, you hear that, folks? Toby likes the AU because everyone kills each other. Sounds right for a guy who made a game about mercy and literally dismantling the idea of kill or be killed. Then they essentially tell me Noelle is my self-insert. You know, the character who existed since Chapter 1. Her character was based off this specific person with Noelle's lore of being pranked by Chris based on this random fucking person who didn't work on Deltarune until Chapter 2. At least according to what they told me. She also has a missing sister, and everything adds up until the lake. I push asking what did inspire the lake scene, and then they decide to tell me a story. However, right around this time, Pixel started bothering her. It starts off simple enough. If you screenshot stuff, black out my name, I don't want to be bothered about Toby Fox. And then she makes a claim that made the title of this video. Toby sees me as his child. We were all in a VC at the time. Pixel, Cordy, Shine, me, and a few others. We all busted out laughing because, really? Toby sees you as his child? Next, Pixel asks the same thing I did. How long have you worked with Toby Fox? And Dubs says, end of Chapter 1 era, which simply doesn't match up with what she told me. Then Pixel makes a mistake of bringing up their age, where Dubs has to say they've been working on Deltarune since the end of middle school, and for some odd reason, Pixel kept questioning. Sorry, my knowledge of American school systems sucks, so I don't know when they end. I was thinking it would be like 14 or something. My bad. Which, obviously you can't justify, I'm Toby Fox's best friend and surrogate child and I've known him since I was 14. So they got their friend to say, on behalf of Dubs, they are busy right now. Please refrain from messaging for now. Thank you. Which, can I just say, if you plan on messing with someone and notice they said something that doesn't feel right, don't keep pushing them about it, because obviously they'll try to bail the conversation before they say anything else that might tip you off they're lying. In terms of chess, this was a blunder. Meanwhile, I have a flurry of brilliant moves that allowed me to stay in contact with this person, even as I'm writing the script exposing them for being a fraud, simply because they lied to my friend, and me after I started talking to them, but they wouldn't have been able to lie to me if they also didn't lie to Shine before, so. Anyway, back to the story they started telling me. Long ago, a family had been there. They weren't perfect by any means, but the little brother and older sister made do with what they had. Apparently we're calling them Dubs and Sylvia. Huh, I really wonder who the little brother could be. So Dubs was a strange kid, and Sylvia was the violent protective older sister. If you can't tell, this is who will end up being Noelle and Des in Deltarune. One day, a family moved in next door. Then everything began to change. Then something funny happens. She tells me, sorry, I'm typing this in a document for later so I have it for reference. AKA the fucking Google Doc she uses to keep track of the lies. AKA the thing I joked about with my friends earlier. And then they delete the message? Real bad look, Dubs. I don't know what to say. Anyway, so the family had 2 kids. One that's the same age as Sylvia, which I can only assume is supposed to be Asriel, whose name is Lost to Trauma, and a kid around the same age as Dubs, who is named Samuel. Then we just call the forgotten kid Bob, because, why not? Over time, Bob and Sylvia got close, but Samuel and Dubs never really did, and it was instead Samuel tormenting Dubs, which I guess ended up being put into Deltarune as Chris pranking Noelle, and Noelle and Chris kind of just being nothing more than neighbors by the time of chapter 1. Dubs was put into therapy, but therapy traumatized him, and the image of his therapist forever burned into his mind. Now one day, they all decided to get pizza. Do you see where this is going? If you don't, I'll keep talking. The pizza box had a face that reminded Dubs of their therapist, and he swears up and down the eyes were following her. So Sylvia, in an effort to comfort Dubs, offers to take the box into the woods and burn the demon back to hell. Do you get it now? This is the fucking icy pizza box story. As soon as I realized where the story was going, which was pretty much the instant I read he swears the eyes are following him, I bursted out into laughter at the sheer audacity to tell me this like this is a legit thing that happened. You know the story from here. Des goes to burn it. The only thing that burns are the eyes. Pixel, this is an example of when you know something is up, you act ignorant. Anyway, Samuel is still being addicted to Dubs. So Samuel hides the pizza box under Dubs' bed. Then the pizza box is used as a mask and just adds to Dubs' trauma relating to this fucking pizza box. One day, when Dubs checks under the bed for Samuel, they find a note telling them to go to the lake. And I swear to God, they spent so long basically just to say they got to the lake and saw the pizza box with glowing eyes between the trees, which was apparently just a couple of lights and a fishing rod. I was editing when I realized this motherfucker got scared by the Mr. Krabs fishing rod ghost technique. Then Samuel comes out wearing another pizza box mask, then walks towards Dubs, and Dubs, scared, just takes steps back and falls into the lake and pretty much almost drowns. Oh, did I mention it was November and it's supposed to be super cold? Anyway, Bob shows up, aka Asriel, and apparently jumps into the lake to save Dubs, then puts him in his car with the heat on. Then Sylvia whacks Samuel a couple times, probably with a wiffle bat if I had to take a wild guess. Dubs ends up in the hospital and could have gotten hypothermia. And then, get this, the next day, the lake was frozen solid, hard enough to ice skate on. I don't know about you, but that's not how lakes work. Even just forming thin layers can take like a week. So if it's thick enough to ice skate on overnight, that's actually just not possible. Yeah, there you go. That's the inspiration for the weird route, loosely based off of Dubs' life. Gee, it almost sounds like the entire dynamic of Asriel, Des, Noelle, and Chris are also, not even loosely, based off her life, which would be incredibly weird if these characters have existed since long before chapter 2, assuming the alarm clock dialogue mentioning Rudy is anything to go off of. Or heck, even the fact that Deltarune was being made before Undertale. But no, such a plot-heavy dynamic only came to fruition after chapter 2 came out. That's when you started working on Deltarune. Or maybe it was written after chapter 1. Who knows? I assume Dubs would, but she's not a reliable source of information now, is she? Now, the final thing I have against Dubs, I actually got when looking through their channel in preparation for this video. Dubs, if you wrote the weird route and it was based off your life, mind telling us why you were surprised by what happened? Hell, you started talking about all this shit about her smiling. And if the weird route where she violently smiles is based off you and you smiling, why did you make a bunch of emails participating in the ARG if you wrote the entire fucking thing the ARG is attached to? This is Tommy Tallarico levels of lying! And do any of you really, honestly believe this random middle schooler somehow got into contact with Toby Fox, practically became his best friend slash child, and wrote the entire weird route all by herself with no creative input from Toby Fox? I want to apologize on behalf of Dubs to everyone in the Scented Candles server, everyone who believed Dubs and her lies, and everyone who has to find out through this video that Dubs has been lying to them this whole time about working on Deltarune. Hell, about the impact they had on Deltarune's story. I understand it's never easy to find out someone you trust have been lying to you, especially if it's someone you rely on for emotional support. Finally, I'm gonna end this video by reminding people, do not spread hate. Do not go and harass this person. You have no reason to bother people after watching this video. Simply do not interact with them. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But yeah, that's practically it. This random nobody lying about working on Deltarune. Again, I wouldn't care if they didn't lie to Shine and then continue to lie to me. You could have saved yourself if you just like told the truth or just like changed your story and been like, no, I'm just some like hardcore Noelle Kinner. No, you didn't make that clear at all. You lied to me, to Pixel Worldians, to Shine, to the 60 fucking people in the Scented Candle server. And hey, I want to apologize to Dubs. I didn't have to go and lie to you for like an entire day. just to get all this information to prove to everyone that you're lying. But at the same time, you never had to lie to people that you worked on Deltarune and smoked weed with Toby Fox and Temmie Chang. I'm not gonna forget that. That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Oh, and that you're Toby's surrogate child!